Hi everyone, Scott Davenport here. Welcome to In the Field. Thanks for joining me today. Today's video is a retrospective in a sense. It's from footage from 2017 that I found going through my archives that I haven't shared before. And this bit of clips resonated with me for a couple of reasons. One, it's the San Diego coast. And as I record this, I'm getting ready to get down to the coastline again, get some photos in, do some recon for the San Diego Coastlines workshop that's coming up. But secondarily, at the very end of this bit of footage I found, I recorded some stuff of myself in the car, just talking about how I felt after the shoot. And it resonated with me how I've been feeling recently about my photography and just, well, let me run the clips, and then I'll tie that back together after you've seen the footage.
Out of La Jolla this evening, an area of the coast I don't shoot as often, and as I'm looking at it right now, I probably should. Got a couple of options here. Looking at this as a just kind of a tiered landscape, foreground, midground, background, and also have the sun setting out to the northwest. And there's this peak of rock that points out there. Some nice wave splash going over the front of that as well. I'm not so sure about color in the sky. The marine layer is pretty thick. But a couple of potentials here, and thankfully I don't have to walk very far between them because the tide's coming in and I'm not going to be able to move much farther than the rocks that I'm standing on already. I'm shooting roughly like this framing right now. I'd show you in camera, but I'm in the middle of a long exposure. 10-stop filter on the front, so at current lighting conditions, it's actually about a minute to a minute and a half of exposure time. And so I'm settling in around a minute 20, erring on the side of making sure everything's smoothed out and catching all the highlights in the sky. It's shaping up to be quite a nice afternoon. There's a little break in the clouds at the horizon, so I'm getting some golden light on the cliff faces here in the afternoon. And it's pleasant, it's warm. Waves aren't too threatening. It's just a matter of waiting for the camera to finish its thing. I just finished one of the exposures. This is the one from a little zoomed out and then got in closer. I like that there's more of the sky here, but I think this feels a little balanced, more balanced overall. I've worked this area enough. I'm going to go and try up a different composition. Got some nice light that's coming in from the horizon. It's going to be there for another 20-25 minutes. And this little outcropping of rock, I'll see if I can get myself perched up with a good angle on this. Limited space to work with. And the tide has continued to rise. It's the foreground rocks are getting wetter by the moment. So I got to make sure I finish up before I run out of land. The second composition I'm working is this finger of rock reaching out to the sky. The sky's quite nice right now. I am going ahead with the longer exposure and just smoothing out the ocean because the ocean itself is pretty uninteresting. It's just a lot of not even interesting rippled water. It's kind of messy. But I do like the sky and I like this one strong subject here. So working this scene. Color's not bad. I will hang around here until the sun really starts to disappear behind that marine layer. And let's see, the camera looks like it just finished up. Let's see what we got here. Well, that is really hard to see on this screen. I got too much glare. So we'll have to take a look at this back at the studio. So I just did something I almost never do, and I left the scene before the sun went down. And I can still see a little bit of the glow of the sun there. And it's strange, I don't feel bad about it. And I'm trying to figure out exactly why. I suppose part of it may be that the area I was working was limited. I had one rock that I could walk around on, and I'd pretty much exhausted the compositions. And some other folks had come in, I could tell most of them are from out of town, so let them have their time at that same spot too. I can always come back. But the other part is I don't feel bad about missing a sunset, although it's not a particularly glorious one. It was not a particularly bad one either. So I got to think about this some more.
It was nice to see those clips again for a couple of reasons. One is it reminded me that I have some photos in my library that are interesting and I hadn't worked on them. And well, I've since worked on one of them and I'll share that in a couple of days from now. But the second reason was that, that bit at the end of me talking to myself in the car, saying that I was okay not hanging around and capturing a sunset and just, enjoying it. Being okay that I wasn't there with my camera getting it and documenting it or however you want to describe it. I still love sunsets, and there have been some killer sunsets in San Diego in the last 4 weeks, and I've enjoyed them but it's not necessarily through my camera. And I just found it interesting that this was a reminder that this isn't the first time I've felt this way. There's waxing and waning of what goes on with your photography, and as long as you're enjoying nature, it doesn't always have to be through a lens. Well, the tip of the week is to keep some kind of journal for how you're feeling and thinking about photography. Our photo library becomes the journal of our work, and we can compare our current work to our past work and see how we've grown. I was very happy to find that I hadn't just destroyed this video, because it also gave me a perspective on the intangibles, not the resulting photos, but how did I feel during various parts of my photography. And the YouTube videos help me with that. But if you're not doing videos for yourself, or you're not publishing them or sharing them with your photo circles, even just some kind of journal, if it's a couple of lines in a document file, or if you're still using pencil and paper like some of us old school folks, anything like that can help you to measure yourself, because that's really the best way, I think, to measure your progress as a photographer, is compare yourself against your prior self. That's it for this week's In the Field. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you did, leave a comment below. Questions about photography, drop them in the comments. Shoot me a message on my website if you want to keep it private. And until next time, my name is Scott Davenport, and happy shooting.